Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick, Senior Editor at WeissRatings.com. Welcome back to the show, Sean.
Thanks for having me on.
Everybody's talking about gold, or are they, or just the smart people so far?
That's a great question. You know, a lot of people are now trying to call a top in gold, and it's true that at the end of last week, in the GDX, which is the major gold index, right, we saw a weekly outside bearish reversal. That is, in that week, gold started higher and then closed down lower, and that was bigger than the preceding candle. I have charts of this on my website and stuff like that. So you could see it was time for a correction in the gold miners. Gold, though, every time that it sells off toward 1,500, the buyers come in. And so, and now silver is over $17 quite strongly. And so I think that the dips can be bought. That's the way we're playing it in our publications. This is a flight to safety thing. I mean, we've seen the Fed and the White House and everyone else try to pump up these markets. It's more like try and prop them up. And so I think we're seeing a flight to safety all over the world. And for many people in the world, that flight to safety means sending their money to North America. That tends to buy our assets. That also tends to prop things up. But the bigger picture is quite bearish for the broad market globally, and and since there's that fear trade, it's quite bullish for gold. So that's what I would be watching. And also pushing gold along is negative interest rates. Right now, the amount of government debt, which has a negative nominal yield, that is, it is issued like, say, a 10-year bond. At the end of 10 years, they'll give you less money than you paid for it. That's now over $16 trillion. That's insane. And we are seeing this start to snowball, not only in the government debt, but going into corporate debt, going into all kinds of things. And that's an indication that looking down the road, you know, people don't see much growth. And so that's really the kind of way I look at it, is that gold is the ultimate hazardous insurance, and right now more and more people are really going into that because they are worried about the future.
When you have so many people rushing into one space, can you actually get enough gold?
That's a good question, but I will tell you something that is helping people right now, which is that China has severely limited the amount of gold import licenses since May. They've said, no, you can't import gold. Now, there's a reason for that the Chinese are doing it. And the reason is the more gold that comes in, money has to go out. And they're trying to prop up their currency. We've heard lots of charges that the Chinese are playing like a currency war with the rest of the world, making their currency cheaper and cheaper. A lot of that is involuntary. What's actually happening is those people who have money in China want to get it out. And that's hurting their currency quite a bit. And so I don't know how that's actually going to work out, but I don't think things actually look good for the Chinese right now. And so that's another reason that would improve gold. But because they aren't importing gold right now, that's making gold cheaper than it might be otherwise. And so, yeah, we've seen a tremendous run in gold, but it could have been a lot worse if the Chinese were buying. Now, at some point, the Chinese will stop this. They will say, okay, you can import what gold you want. That, when it happens, will probably be a boon to gold prices. The thing is, it's really impossible to predict when that actually is going to happen.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
I'm Douglas Mason, CEO of Naturally Splendid, symbol NSP on the TSX Venture Exchange. Naturally Splendid is a biotechnology and consumer products company focused on the global cannabis and health markets. Naturally Splendid is expanding distribution in this rapidly growing market with products currently in Canada, the USA, South Korea, Germany, and Australia. To view our comprehensive company presentation and for more information, please visit our website at naturallysplendid.com.
Grand Portage Resources' Herbert Gold Project in southeast Alaska highlights increased gold resource, indicated and inferred, of 860,000 ounces, in excess of 10 grams per ton gold. Expansion drilling is planned on the Herbert Gold property for the summer of 2019. Grand Portage Resources trading symbols are GPG on the TSX Venture, GPTRF on the OTCQB, and GPB on Frankfurt. For more information, please visit our website, grandportage.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, gold, of course, just like the animals in Animal House, were not completely equal. Gold bullion, gold stocks, gold miners, gold juniors. Do you have any preference?
Yeah, well, right now the gold producers are really doing well for me. For example, in Super Cycle, in like Super Cycle Investor, we have B2 Gold that's done very well for us, and we have Mag Silver, which is not a producer, but it's a big, rich vein. So, I mean, that's a developer. So I would stick to the larger end of the scale right now, simply for the reason, I mean, if you want shorter-term results, simply for the reason that most of Wall Street isn't really aware of this. Once Wall Street becomes aware of it, once, the money really starts to pump into the sector, then everything is going to go higher, and then you'll want the smaller stocks because they can fly faster and harder than just about anybody else. Right now, though, just buy things you feel comfortable with, and I'm very comfortable with gold miners. I'm also comfortable with gold royalty companies, for example. I think those always look good, and so I'm happy to have those in my portfolio. And, you have to be careful. One thing is, when gold miners do go up, and we just had that happen yesterday, look at the gold and silver positions in your portfolio. And if the GDX and the GDXJ and the SIL are all going up, and your positions are not, then it's probably time to swap into something that moves with the broader gold sector. I mean, unless you're holding it for something else. Do you think there's something that's been undiscovered about the stock and it'll pay off big in the future? That's a good reason to hold on to it. But if you're just trying to play the move in gold and you want something leveraged, which is what gold miners are supposed to be, then they have to move with the broad gold mining industry and they have to outperform it. Those are the things you want to own, the things that are going up the most on the days when gold miners go higher.
Silver, is it still lagging much further behind than it should?
It is. I mean, we've seen some improvement, but in fact, yesterday we saw gold miners outperform the silver miners. And in a real bull market, that shouldn't happen. You should see the silver miners outperform. So that just is one of the things that really tells me it's still early days. And so there is underperformance, but again, it depends on if you're patient. I just told you we owned Mag Silver in one of our portfolios. That's because it's a tremendously rich project that they own at least a chunk of. And so when that comes into production, that stock will do extraordinarily well. And there isn't much that's in the way of it happening. So, you can be selective. You have to know if you just want to ride the big trend. But one thing to keep in mind with silver, when the real bull market starts, right, when things really start taking off, silver stocks will outperform. So if you just want to tuck a couple in now, just to wait for when that finally happens, I certainly wouldn't blame you.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after the break.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, crude oil sitting in the middle of nowhere right now, but will it get worse or better?
I think it's definitely going to get better, and simply because we've seen good reactions to what should be bearish news recently. And so that's one of the tells that I use in the market. When something goes up on good news, that's fine, that's expected. When something goes down on bad news, that's fine, that's expected. When things don't react the way you expect them to, to like whatever news comes out, that really should get your attention. We've seen, despite, predictions by, say, OPEC and stuff, that there's going to be an oil surplus and like stuff like that, we've seen oil pick itself up off its lows and head higher, and there's a lot of I don't know. I think all the stuffing has been beaten out of the energy sector. It's been so bearish for so long. Since October of 2018, as a matter of fact, things have been on a downhill slide for oil. And so all the positivities has been beaten out of that industry, beaten out of that sector, you name it. And so that means things can be extremely cheap, especially if they pay a dividend and it's a growing dividend and they have the money flow to support that dividend. Now's the time to pick them up. I mean, that would just be common sense, wouldn't it?
Don't ask me about common sense, according to my wife. The marijuana space, is it still a negative place?
It is still not good. I mean, we normally see an autumn rally within the marijuana space. We still could see it, and I'm expecting it. Yeah, I'm actually kind of betting that is going to happen. But right now, right in front of our faces, it's still getting beaten like a red-headed stepchild. No matter what the news is from companies, they just get beaten down. Now, that can change in a hurry because there's a lot of short interest in the marijuana space right now. Once the good news comes out and those shorts have to cover, you can see these things rip. So we are positioned for a rally. We're underwater right now. That's absolutely sure. But I think the longer-term picture is quite good. There are massive megatrends that are going to favor marijuana stocks, all sorts of stuff, from new medicines to the fact that the population is aging to liberalized laws around the world, you name it. Lots of things are in their favor. They just have to be the right companies. Be very selective when you pick and choose in this area.
Bitcoin, anything going on there?
Bitcoin, oh my God. I don't know. We have people here in the office who trade Bitcoin and recommend Bitcoin. I have been blessed not to lose money in that area yet. I think if you find me buying it, that'll be a time to sell. I don't really keep track of it, so you should ask someone else like Tony Sagami or someone like that who actually knows what's going on in that area.
Anything else that's caught your eye recently?
Well, I'm also positioned for a market sell-off. We have some hedge positions in there, just to guard against, a real downdraft in the market because, despite the very recent action in the market, it's, just the overall price action has not been supportive of higher prices. When there are sell-offs, there's higher volume than the volume you see on the days when the market goes up. That's an absolute tell that the easiest path for the market is down, even despite the fact that they're talking about more tax cuts, even despite the fact of the other good news that they're trying to actually roll out and push out. This market seems to be top heavy. Now that doesn't mean that it can't go higher. It certainly can. And I mean, we have portfolios full of nice dividend paying stocks that should do well if the market goes up and will be hurt less if the market goes down. So I would just say, approach this market with a sense of caution, but I think you should be in it to win it, and be very careful what you buy.
Sean, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick, Senior Editor at WeissRatings.com. If you have any questions for Sean or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.